Hey, Paul, how you doing? Listen, if we get disconnected tonight, man, I'm going to go eat an early dinner. Okay, Paul, did you start making a video for me? Anything you want. Not playing on the drums, though. Yo, Matt. Hey, what's up? All right. Anyway, something to do with the levels, like a single paradiddle, double paradiddle, triplet rolls, whatever you'd like to do. Okay, tonight we're going to, we had Renzo suggested that we work on formula number 8. So if he comes in tonight, we'll do that. If not, we're going to wait until tomorrow morning. Afternoon, rather. Do you have anything you'd like to particularly work on or go over? No? I did want to work on some turnarounds, a drum set application. Anything in particular, Mr. Paul? Let's see what we got. Okay, that sounds good. How do you want to do it? In the triplets? R equals and or as written, played against the jazz pattern. Any way you'd like. But how you making out with the turnarounds? I've been meaning to do this lesson with a drum set application, and I'm going to do it slow. I'm never going to do a lesson fast. All right, we can do that. You like that triplet feel, huh? The difference between straight up and down and swung, okay? The syncopation is nice. Triplet rolls. A lot of guys get confused. I don't know where 3 strokes in each hand is not a triplet roll. When I'm doing triplets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That's not a triplet roll. It's not a 3-stroke roll. It's just a triplet with 3 rights and 3 left stickings. When we're doing a triplet roll, the first thing you want to do is warm up. Now there's an extension to this. Then is. Of course, there's paradiddle drum set applications and jazz patterns and oh boy. All right, let's start. Let's do let's hang out. Let me just give you the exercise for the triplet roll. I don't know, you could do this in a few different ways, whichever you think you'd like to do it. If I did 1 and 2 and 3 and when I get to 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2. What I did was extend it at one time. We can do turnarounds as well. Okay. All right, Dennis. All right. Let's just gather. When we're all gathered together, I don't have to repeat a triplet roll lesson like this, the stick control formulas number 8. Okay? With the paradiddle, it's not. It is. You can say it's a paradiddle. And let me go back to ground zero with the turnarounds. Okay? When we're doing single strokes, 16th note formation. That's a right hand lead. Left hand lead. I put a paradiddle there. Okay. When you make the transition from right hand lead to left hand lead, something has to exist differently than singles in order to make the transition smooth. So what you're going to do there is you're going to utilize a paradiddle. So if I wanted to do right, interpret the stick control book like that, and left, I'd have right, right. Now look, I did a paradiddle at the end, and now I'm in position to nail the left-hand lead. So that establishes that where that comes from, okay? What I want to do, I mean, that's a one surface exercise. You should be practicing that, get familiar with it. And it's maneuverability around the drum set, clockwise or counterclockwise. And just a little brief story first. Maybe I'm partial or whatever, because I saw a gentleman named Joe Casados. Great drummer, man. And he owned the drum shop, the modern drum shop in New York City. And I think Tim Herman used to repairs for him, okay? And I caught him live. And he also published rudimental and rhythmic patterns around the drum set. That's the two books he published. And you know, he does the turnarounds like this, crossovers. I don't like the crossovers. And Joe Casados, I would have to say, in my opinion, as far as just maneuvering around a drum set, I don't believe there was anybody I ever saw faster. I'm not going to say he's the fastest. Who's this? Hi, Robert. I should move this a little closer. We have a new viewer. Okay. Atma. Okay, Atma. How are you? Where are you coming from, Atma? Where are you from? Tell us a little bit about yourself, and I'm going to put my email. Okay, Atma. Is that how you pronounce it? If you email me, I will put you on my mailing list. You will get a time and location of the week's lessons and whatever PDFs you need for that particular lesson. Okay, so let's work with the turnarounds. I don't know if Atma is familiar with turnarounds, the term. Whenever I make that transition, if I'm doing, say, we're interpreting the right as one and the left as. So if I want to go from right to left, I'm going to do two rights, then left, right, left. So that's making the transition. Okay, good. Welcome. Email me, I'll put you on my mailing list after the lesson, okay? And you'll get the time, location, and PDFs if necessary. All right, now let's talk about drum set application. If I want to go here, that's pretty all right, you know, from moving from right to right. But now, for me to come over here, I'm not going to cross my sticks. That means I'd have to go continue with the right side. So what's going to happen, I'm using a paradiddle to make the transition smooth. So let me do two rights and two lefts here, okay? So, right, left. See how smooth that was, Paul? Atma, Robert, Dennis. How you doing? I'm sorry, Robert, I didn't see you. How you doing? 1 E and 2 E, 3 E and 4 E and Now you want to get super speed. I don't know, what that's going to do for you, but to get comfortable with that, well, I wouldn't think about that as, you know, a paradiddle as a turnaround. You use a paradiddle to make the turnaround smooth. That's the difference in what you just said. See, if I went 1, E, and see, I could travel up here. You still travel here. If I want to move here, and I want to move back, I start with the left. So if I did 2 rights, remember the right equals and L equals. So I'm going to do 2 rights, 2 lefts. We get that? Which drum is that? There's like 4 of them here, 5 of them. Boom, pop, boom, pop, boom. Well, tuning them here and coming to you over the web is a different sound. But thank you for the compliment. Okay. You want me to continue on turnarounds, or you want me to do some paradiddle things beside the turnarounds? That was a different move. Right, right, left, left, right. It depends on where you want to travel. You want to move on, okay. What do you want to move on to? Just the paradiddles. All right. How many guys here have the Charlie Wilcoxon rudimental swing? All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to play 4 paradiddles in 16th note formation. 1 E enda, 2 E enda, 3 E enda, 4 E enda. I'm going to play it on the snare drum first. We're going to accent the downbeat. 1. Now we're going to take that same pattern and play all right-hand accents on the floor tom-tom, all left-hand accents on the small tom-tom. So we have. Or you can just do them between the 2 drums. But I'd rather just do what I just showed you. A little slower. 1 E and 2 E, 3 E and 4 E and Now we're going to take that same process. All right, we're going to work on that in a second, okay? Atma, what we're going to do, you have the book, Paul. There's a part. If you guys don't have the book, I'll send over some things to you guys. But that's the paradiddle with the accent on the 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to use the same sticking. This time we're going to put the accent on the E, and I'll do it on one surface. 1 E and 2 E and 4 E and Now we're going to move that over to the floor tom-tom. We have 1 E and 2 E. Now put both of them together. 3, 4. We got that? Hey, Paul, you're going to like this guy, Atma. He likes the swing pattern. Ding, chonk, ding, 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 ding. We're going to get to that in a second, all right? But that's one variation. This is in the book. You have the page open, Paul? So you're taking all accents now and you're putting them on right-hand accents on the floor, left-hand accents on the small tom-tom, okay? So now, here we go. The first one, I'm going to go right into the second one. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1. Now, I think the third one, it reverses, it goes to the E and is a double. So we're going to have them as accents. 1 E and the 2. So we're going to play all right-hand accents on the floor, all left-hand accents on the small tom-tom. So we have 1 E and 2. Third one. Let me have. It's best if I write this out. If that's what you requested, Dennis, let me write out the page for you and send it to you. Atma, don't forget, email me. Okay? And Dennis, Paul, Robert. Yeah, on number 2, the accent is on the E. Hey Ed, how are you? So you're best to do it first, actually on the drum set. I mean on the drum pad. What I would do first is do the first one. Go back and forth from 1 to 2. Get them going on one surface and then move them around. But like I said, let me just do a sheet and I'll send it out after the lesson or a little bit after the lesson, okay? Well, let's go to the swing pattern. I love this as well. Dennis, I'll send you a sheet, okay? All right, I have 2 Charlie Wilcoxon books. The other ones, I have the rudimental swing solos, okay, and I have the 150 rudimental solos. All right, so now, let's go to that tomorrow, okay, and let's talk about the swing. Yeah, man, he swings. Yeah, they're kicking ass. They're swinging their asses off. What do they mean by that? I don't know. Anyway, the first thing you want to do is when you're going to take a swing, you know, you could think of it any way you want. What I do is I think of the 8th note triplet. I think of 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. So let's get a matter of interpretation. So when I swing something, for example, you take line 1, and by the way, in the syncopation formula book, what I've started was I gave maybe 30 different, 40 different samples of straight up and down, and the measure next to it swung. How do you interpret it? So let's start here with the stick control book. The stick control book is a savior. If I took page 5, line 1 of the stick control book and went 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that was the first measure, that's considered straight up and down because it's kind of stiff. Now, if I say swing that, now what happens is I mentally revert to an 8th note triplet. My count to 8th note triplets is 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. Now the downbeat remains the same on the triplet. However, when I look at the stick control book and I see 1 and, the 1 remains the same, 1. Then I see and, well, I'm not going to play it straight up and down, but I'm going to remain the triplet. All the ands become the da of the triplet. So if I take the first line, swung, it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Got that? Waggy, how you doing? All right, good. Thank you, Paul. I don't have the book in front of me. I apologize, Dennis. All right, do you understand that Atma? Straight up and down. Straight up and down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we're going to take that and we're going to swing it right away. Eighth note triplets. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. We get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Got it? So now, what I'm going to do is play the jazz pattern. I just wanted to explain the straight up and down and swung. Now, when I play my jazz pattern, I'm thinking triplets again. And there's the levels that have to come in here. I'm not playing an open time or I'm not playing melodically. I'm playing mechanically. So that would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now watch. Free stroke, down, a free stroke, down, a free stroke, down. Okay? Now, when I play that jazz pattern, I'm going to use my left foot with the ride cymbal. My left foot is going to be closed on the counts of 2 and 4. So in order for me to stay in unison, I use a heel-toe method with the left foot. The heel is on 1, the toe's on 2 to give it the close. Again, the heel's on 3 to open it up, and 4, you bring it down to close it. So now I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4. Dinga doom ba. 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we understand that. Everybody? Well, okay. Waggy, where are you from again? You know, put everything down and open up the computer and let's, take a lesson. I know I get involved sometimes and I forget. Oh, man, it's 2 minutes before 7. Anyway, now we have this smooth going on. Now, what I want to do, okay, is interpret the stick control book as swung. 1. But this time we're going to use a substitution. We're going to use the rights as the bass drum. So I'm going to, instead of have 1, I'm going to have 1. So I play that against the jazz time. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. That's line 1. Same interpretation, swung, but let's follow the sticking. Left remains on the snare, R is the bass drum. Line 3, same interpretation. Line 4. Line 5. Now what I'm demonstrating is nothing to do with any particular tune or concept of A, B, A. It's exercises for you to develop control between the bass drum and the snare drum. Okay, Italy, Waggy, all right, Waggy, all right. Anyway, that's one way. I mean, I could sit here and do all 72 lines for you if you'd like, but if you understand 1 through 5, you can do the whole page by yourself. There's a lot of important things here to remember. That ride cymbal has to be consistent. I'm getting all 4. Ding, dong, ding, 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 dong, ding, ding, ding. So you want to get that downstroke and upstroke. Free stroke. You want to train your hands to do that. I'm not playing in open time. Bop, 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 bop. You know, that kind of thing. I'm just doing mechanics. Yes, that was the paradiddle. Atma. Anyway, that's one interpretation. Let me do the workbook, number 2 and number 4. Now let me do 1, 2, 3, and 4, okay? I believe that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. I gave an exercise as a hand, one surface hand exercise, like triplets. R equals 3 rights, L equals 3 lefts. If I did line 1 from the stick control book, page 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, drop. If I did number 5, line 5, number 3 rather. Nice and slow. Up and bang. That's a one surface exercise, and that was inspired to me by Joe Morello's, what the heck he called him again? Oh, Jesus. I'll think of it in a second. Stone Killers. John, how you doing, man? Hey. Okay, now, that was the first guy. That was a one surface exercise. Let's go to the second surface exercise where we take the first exercise, the one surface, and we say, okay, let's do a substitution. All R's, instead of becoming this, it becomes. So we substitute the right hand for the bass drum with that exercise. So if I did the first, and the left foot's 2 and 4, heel and toe. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Heel, toe, right, left, right. You got that? And you can drop the whole page down like that. Get used to that feel. Line 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry. 1, 2, getting lazy. So now, let's take that same concept that we just did between the right foot and the snare drum against this guy. Once you get this exercise down, once you get the exercise down, you want to do a little bit of an endurance exercise. Play the jazz time and play your triplets with the bass drum for about 3 minutes, because the right foot's a lot slower than the left hand. So you really want to work that bass drum. 1, 2. I'm not going to sit there and do it for 5 minutes, but that's what I normally do. Okay, so now let's take the exercise itself from a one surface to a drum set application. We're using the substitution method. R equals bass drum, L equals snare drum against the jazz pattern. Line 1. Actually, I'm not going to say after I do it. I'm going to go from line 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? Can you follow me like that? 1, line 1. Here we go. Line 2. Line 3. So on and so forth. Now I just did the stick control book and the one surface exercise from the workbook to a drum set application. Remember the first one. All rights equal a bass drum. Left is on a snare. That's the first one. 2. Line 3. Line 4. Line 5. Now you can do the whole page from 1 to 72, or you can stay on line 1 for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and go down to the next guy. Anyway, if you notice the way I'm interpreting that is a 4-measure increment. And you can have a lot of fun with the 4-measure phrase, okay? Because the first right, left is actually, with this interpretation, 1 measure. The second guy, 2 measures. The fourth time, 4 measures. Now, you can have some fun, like I said, once you get the exercise down. 1 step at a time. Not baby steps to giant steps. That's the title of a book. What you want to do, once you get it going on, and I like to have fun with this. If I did that exercise, line 1, that's a 4-measure increment, I'm going to solo off that 4 measures and go back into the next one, line 2. Play line 2 all the way through, 4 measures, and take a 4-measure drum solo and come back into line 3. It's a lot more fun, but don't jump there yet. Get the exercises, get the value of the exercises. So the request was to learn some jazz patterns, independence. Let me tell you, and I've told this to a lot of members. Yeah, well, all right, you can think of it as 6/8, but it's not really 6/8. I'm thinking in 4. You can think of the first triplet as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but that defeats the purpose. You got to do 4, 4 for this to work out for you. You're not wrong by thinking 6/8. I mean, you take a tune like Satin Dollars and 4, 4. I could break it up into 6/8, give you a Satin Doll March, or any tune for that matter that's swinging a 6/8. From a 4, 4 to 6/8, but it's going to extend, and it's not 6/8. It's 4, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can think of that, but you don't want to think about that. You want to think 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the bing, 2. Okay, so that's what? 1, 2, 3 ways, I think, right? I think. The next one is the triplet fill-ins. Listen, I know that you guys didn't have this. I get I start going off and it's my fault. I need to stay with the agenda, so I'm just going to be loose tonight. And this is for Ken and Atma and John and everybody else, Waggy and Paul and Robert. Who else is in here? A lot of guys aren't in here because they're having problems getting online because the traffic is extremely heavy on the internet. We were booted 3 times this afternoon. If I get booted tonight, that's it. I am off. Do we understand the terminology triplet fill-ins? Do we all understand it? I know Paul, Robert, and I don't know about Waggy and Dennis. John, you're new. Ken, Atma. Do you understand what I mean by triplet fill-in? Okay, if not, it goes back to the stick control book. As you noticed, you guys that have been with me for quite some time now, my primary source is teaching from the stick control book. But the way I feel about the stick control book, every methodology book that's out there comes from the stick control book. So hey, what do you want me to tell you? Okay, does everybody understand triplet fill-ins? Not fills, because I hate that term. Fill-ins. I need some response there, please. Dennis, you don't. Okay. It's in the formula book. And it's pertaining to our jazz patterns tonight. Paul understands it, Dennis don't understand it. So who don't understand it, let me just do it and explain it. And then we'll take it to the jazz pattern. It's a matter, you could do this with the syncopation book as well, but I prefer to do this with the stick control book. Now we're thinking of line 1 in the stick control book. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and swung. So I'm going to say, all right, eliminate the lefts, and you're going to get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, to make the line a straight line, and I'm going to put the bass drum in, and I'm going to put the hi-hat in, so it's not going to be linear. But I'm filling in the line with a straight line of eighth note triplet. But I'm dominating the right, so I'd have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, the and of the triplet is not there, so we're going to fill it in. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 2, 3, 4. We go to line 2. Now the right shifts over to the does of the triplet on line 2. So we're going to fill in the 1 and, then we're going to hit the duh with the right hand on the duh. 1, if I hit, or let me just do the left, or the right first on line 2. 1 and duh, 2 and duh, 3 and duh, 4 and duh, 1 and 2 and duh, 3 and duh, 4 and duh. Now I'm going to fill in the triplet. 1 and duh, 2 and duh, duh, 4 and 1 and duh, 2 and duh, 3 and duh, 4 and duh. So now you understand how to do number 1. You lost me? Okay, Robert. Let me go backwards a little bit here. Oh, you're going already. Okay. All right, Robert, what we did is we interpreted, it's in the workbook. I forgot what page it is. I got to stick to the workbook. I got to stick like a teacher with a suit and tie on, or a tie. We're looking at line 1 of stick control book. And we say, okay, the way it's written is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're not going to interpret that way. We're going to swing the line. So now we take that first measure and swing it. Remember how to swing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, that's my interpretation of the line. I'm going to eliminate the lefts. So that's going to give me, I'm just going to play the rights with that interpretation. That gives me 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? Let me play, all right, then I want to fill in the blank. I want to make it a straight line, a triplet. Like I said, it's not going to be linear because I'm playing my bass drum and my hi-hat. But for demonstration purposes, if I just went 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and that's how I look at the line. Now I'm going to fill in the blank of the triplet, which would be 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1, 2, 3 and the 4 and the. Now that's where I get the term triplet fill-ins, because I'm filling in the balance of the triplet, not as a ghost note, but softer than the accent. So that's the interpretation. Now with that same interpretation, okay, good Dennis, thank you. With that same interpretation, we'll go to line 2. Now this time, all the rights fall on the duh of the triplet. So if I go to line 2, just play the rights. 1 and duh, 2 and duh, 3 and duh, 4 and duh, 1 and duh, 3 and duh, 4 and duh, and fill it in with the balance of the triplets with my left hand. 1 and duh, 2 and duh. So if I incorporate line 1, I'll do it slow. I'll do 2 measures of line 1, 2 measures of line 2. 3, second time. 1, 2, 3, line 2. 1 and duh, 2 and duh, 3 and duh, 4 and. Back. Robert, does that help you out? Once you guys get it going on. Robert, does that help you? If you want, I'll go back over it. No problem, because we're going to take it downstairs with the feet and the jazz pattern. So this is an essential thing that you know it on one surface. Robert, bing, bang, boom, boom. Ken, do you understand it? John, do you understand it? John Green, Mr. Green. Did I get booted again? Okay. Again, line 1 and line 2, slow. Line 1. 1, 2, 3, line 2. Robert! When I come back from line 2, at the end of line 2, it's 1 and da. Then it comes right, left, left. 4 and 1, 2. All right, let me just keep doing it slow. Kind of follow. Have a problem? I need some information from Robert. 1. This is line 1. 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. Go to line 2. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Back. 1. Now you asked that question incorrectly there, Dennis. You said when I'm coming from, all right, line 2, yeah, I'm using, it's not a turnaround. How you doing, old dog? All right, so if I did line 1 and line 2, we would get this. And we're just going to do it slow, moderately. 3, it's not a turnaround. 1, 2, 3, line 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 again. And don't think of it as a turnaround, Dennis. It has nothing to do with turnarounds here. Okay, if I went to now line 3, it's right, right, left, left. So it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now I want to fill in the balance of the triplet. So I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. A little faster. Old dog, do you understand it? Dennis. Robert. So I just demonstrated 3 lines. Let's go to line 4. The accent or the line's going to say 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so now I'm going to drop the triplets now. We're going to have 1 and 2. That's line 4. I skipped line 3. So if I do, let's just do up to 5. This left hand is driving me crazy. It pisses me off. Line 1. Line 2. 1 and 2. Line 3. 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. The 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and boom. Do we understand that? Bean, blue, D, 4, 1. Now, that's the. Am I still online, guys? Yeah, I am. Old dog. You see it now, Dennis? Robert. I'm going to do one more move on that exercise. And here's what I'm going to do from now on. The questions I love, because that helps me help everybody else. If you ask me a question, don't feel ashamed to ask a question. You ask a question, you're learning. But also, when I address the question that you have asked, the others are viewing as well. So that's telling, they're kind of like making sure that they understand it better. Okay? Now, I'm going to do that one more move, like I said. And that move is the substitution. If I took line 1, remember? We're doing the triplet fill-ins, not fills, fill-in. And now we're going to use the substitution. All the rights are going to equal the bass drum. So we have 1, 2, and 3, 4. Now line 2 was 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and with the substitution 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Now we're going to play that again to jazz time. Line 1 with the substitution. Line 3. It's hard to talk and do this shit, man, believe me. All right, any questions on anything here that I've gone over? There's no response. All right, thanks a lot, old dog. Dennis? Robert, you went away. Paul, you understand everything? Mr. Green, do you understand everything? Remember, tomorrow the triplet rolls. Any questions, gentlemen? Okay, coming to a post office near you soon. Rudimental breakdown with the levels. Okay, that's a hard exercise there, Paul. You're going to have that going on. Line 2. Line 3. So on and so forth. No questions here. Okay. By the way, Dennis, do you have that book? The Charlie Wilcoxon Rudimental Drum Solos? I will write the sheet out, but I'm going to write it out on one service and we'll go over sometime tomorrow at 1 p.m. Okay, plus the triplet rolls. Mr. Green, you there? Ken, you there? Waggy, you still here? Okay, geez, I have so much fun I don't realize the time. The last month or so, man, I've been like burnt out with the lessons, and I've been short-changing everybody here. Oh. You have it, okay. All right, but still, like, there's that page on the paradiddle. I forgot what number the page is. The single paradiddle variations with the accents moving around. Okay? Good. That's a good book, by the way, Dennis and Paul. And we tried that with the rudimental swing. What was that? The rudimental swing solo. You have 150. That's a good book as well. Like I said, Philly Joe Jones loved that book. He did a lot of his solos utilizing the rudiments, the singles, the doubles, and the flams. Mr. Green, you there? You have the Wilcoxon book. Okay. There's two of them there, old dog. There's the 150 rudimental solos, and there is the, I'll bring the book, the books are all over the place here, and the rudimental swing. Great books. Classic. I don't think they're published anymore. They're in transition for another company taking over the rights, I think. Man, there's big business shit. But Charlie Wilcoxon books are really good. I have my old copies, a couple of them, and I have a couple brand new copies, which I am going to treasure. Oh. All right. So I'm going to write that out and send it to everybody. Anybody here who's not on my mailing list, email me. Okay? So you can get on my mailing list. That's... You have the 150, okay. But email me if you're not on my mailing list, like Ken and Mr. Green, Bob, Atma, who else? Ken Bison, John Green, Waggy, Bruce. Bruce, email me, I'll put you on my mailing list. Ed's on my mailing list, Buddha. Any questions at all tonight, guys, before I sign off? I will be back tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's really so hard to service the world because the time zones. Like now, it's like 8 o'clock on the East Coast. But in Europe, there's what, a 5-hour difference? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's 5 hours. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. And in California, it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Then you have the Central Time and the Mountain Time and all that good stuff. And then this down South America, you have, I think it's the same time zone, I think. Okay, Paul, be on time if you can. All right, if you have any questions on what you missed, Mr. Old Dog, let me know and we'll address them. Dennis, all you other guys, all right? So now, let me just get out of here and get something to eat.